All right, let's talk about a new kind of crime that's happening right now in the high-tech world we all live in. There's a totally new kind of heist going down, but the target isn't gold, it's not cash, it's something way more personal, your identity. Today, we're diving deep into the rise of the deepfake identity heist.
In this quote from the World Economic Forum, wow, it really sets the stage. Just let that sink in for a second. Identity itself has become synthetic, scalable, and weaponizable. I mean, the very idea of who you are, your face, your voice, can now be manufactured and literally turned into a weapon. It's a massive and kind of unsettling shift.
And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi movie plot. This is happening right now. Really sophisticated criminals are using AI to essentially wear someone else's face. They're just waltzing past the digital security we all count on because our digital identities, they've become the ultimate prize.
So, in this new heist, what's the vault? It's not some steel box in a bank basement. The vault is you. It's your face, your voice, your entire digital footprint. And the bad guys, they're becoming absolute masters at picking these new, incredibly personal locks.
The number one tool for this new kind of break-in is the deepfake. And you've probably seen them online, right? We're talking about AI-generated videos and audio that can imitate a real person so well it's scary. What really started out as a fun novelty for movie special effects or goofy social media filters has now morphed into a really serious threat. And the damage from these attacks, it just cascades outwards. It starts with one person. A fraudster opens a bank account or takes out a loan using your face. Then it scales up to the organizational level. Imagine them impersonating a CEO to get a huge wire transfer approved. But the final, and maybe the scariest impact is systemic. It just eats away at the trust we all have in the digital world we depend on for everything.
So let's take a look inside the criminal's toolkit. We're not talking about crowbars and drills here. We're talking about really sophisticated software. These are the digital lockpicks of the 21st century.
A key weapon they're using is face swapping. And yeah, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. With just a few pictures or even a short video clip of you, AI can plaster your face onto someone else's video, all while keeping the original expressions and movements. The result is a shockingly convincing impersonation, perfect for fooling an automated security check.
And this is what makes it all so tricky. These tools aren't some secret thing on the dark web. Nope. A lot of them were built for totally legitimate reasons, for social media filters, video games, advertising. But now they're being repurposed for crime, which means the barrier to entry for a potential scammer is just shockingly low. Okay, so we've seen the tools. Now let's break down how they're actually used. We're going to dissect the anatomy of one of these attacks to see exactly how these criminals pull off a digital impersonation.
This is the big question, isn't it? How does a criminal take a stolen ID and turn it into a fully funded bank account? Well, it's not magic. It's actually a pretty methodical, step-by-step process.
Okay, so the whole process breaks down into a few key steps. First, they get their hands on an ID. Maybe it's stolen, bought online, or even generated by another AI. Next, they use a face-swapping tool to make a video of themselves, but with a face from that ID. Now here's the really clever part. They inject this fake video directly into the live camera feed during a security check. The automated system, it sees a face that matches the ID, and boom, it gives the green light. The vault is wide open. As scary as that all is, this threat is not standing still. Not even close. The technology is evolving at an absolutely incredible pace, which means these heists, well, they're about to get bigger, way more sophisticated, and a whole lot more common.
Get a load of this number. A 783% increase in these so-called injection attacks. That's the exact technique we just talked about, feeding a fake video into a system. That's not just growth, that's an explosion. It just shows how fast this method is catching on with criminals.
And if you look just down the road, you can see a perfect storm brewing. The AI tools are getting easier to use, so more criminals are targeting banks and crypto. At the very same time, the deepfakes themselves are becoming hyper-realistic. The endgame? We could soon be looking at massive, scalable attacks that can create literally thousands of fake accounts all at once.
But it is not all bad news. For every criminal trying to build a better lockpick, you can bet there are defenders out there building a stronger vault. The counter heist is already happening, and it's being fought on a bunch of different fronts.
So the first line of defense comes from the tech providers themselves. The companies that build the identity verification systems we all use. They are right there on the front lines, fortifying the digital gates against these new kinds of attacks.
They're basically fighting fire with fire, building smarter systems to outsmart the crooks. To stop those injection attacks, they're verifying that a video feed is actually coming from a real physical camera. To catch pre-recorded fakes, they're using what's called dynamic liveness checks, like asking the user to turn their head or smile on command. And their algorithms are getting so much better at spotting those tiny, almost invisible digital clues, like a weird flicker or an unnatural seam that give away a deepfake. Okay, the next layer is the human one, the fraud teams working inside banks and other companies. You could think of them as the digital guards, constantly on the lookout for threats in real time.
Their job is to see the whole picture. They're analyzing all these different signals, from the device, the network, the camera, to spot anything that looks off. If something seems suspicious, they can step it up and ask for more proof of identity. This creates this really important feedback loop that makes the whole system stronger over time.
And finally, at the very top, you have the institutions, the banks, the crypto exchanges, the big organizations. They're the architects of the entire security system, and they're responsible for designing something that's truly tough to crack.
They're the ones setting the strategy. That means putting the absolute strongest defenses around the highest risk stuff, like opening a brand new account. It means they're doing regular red team tests, where they actually hire ethical hackers to try and break their own systems to find weaknesses. And it means they're holding their tech vendors to incredibly high standards to make sure they can defend against all these AI-driven threats.
So, all of this, it leads us to a really fundamental question for the digital age we're in. When reality itself can be faked, when our faces can be swapped and our voices can be cloned, how do we actually prove that we are real? It's a huge challenge, and it goes way beyond just technology. It's forcing all of us to rethink what trust and identity even mean in the years to come.